Hello and good morning. My name is Glenneth Reed, and today I'm going to be talking about Google Ads. Welcome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and screen share. There we go. So, okay, let's get started. Let me go back here and pull up the chat. Just in case anybody starts chatting, I will check on that every now and then. But here we go. Let's get started with Google Ads. Hello, my name is Glenneth Reed. I am an SEO and Google Ads expert, and you can find me at thevisibilitymethod.com. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee. I have degrees in computer science and English from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Little fun fact is the color we are using is actually UT Vodka Orange. I've been married for 27 years. I started in the digital space as a health and fitness blogger in 2011. My favorite hobbies are weightlifting and online shopping. My favorite colors are pink and orange. My spirit animal is the turtle. If you follow Enneagrams, I am a 5-wing 6. And if you follow Myers-Briggs, I am an ISTJ. Okay, let's play a little Did You Know? Did you know that there are 8.5 billion Google searches per day? That is per day across the world, 8.5 billion Google searches. About 5 or 6 years ago when I was doing these presentations, this number was like 3.6. Because Google search volume grows about 10% or more every single year. So somebody out there is searching for the products and the services that you sell. A little fun facts, per eMarketer, 35% of users purchase a product or service within 5 days of searching for it on Google. And 63,000 searches get processed by Google each second. Like, that's just unimaginable to me. So the question is, do you want to be seen when somebody is actively searching for your service? And my answer is, I guess as a business owner, all of our answers would be yes, we do. We want people to find us. So let's talk about Google Ads and how they can help be seen, why they might be for your business. So a little bit about Google Ads in general. First, let's talk about the actual search results page. So if you go on Google and do a search, wedding photographer Knoxville, where I live, you can see these first few that are listed as sponsored. Those are Google Ads. So there are typically 3 or 4 Google Ads, depending on the search and the intent, that will show up. The next is you'll see businesses. So this is like your Google Maps listing, that Google My Business, Google Business listing, whatever they want to call it for the next 6 months. It seems to change that often. And so this will base on where the person who is searching actually is. And then you can see this next one. This is organic. So these are people who are showing up through SEO, search engine optimization practices. But you'll notice this was the top page, and this was actually what I could cut out on my laptop screen. So all they really saw were Google Ads. Okay, so what are Google Ads? Google Ads used to be known as Google AdWords or Google AdWords Express. It is just Google's online advertising solution that you can use to promote your products and services on Google Search, YouTube, and other sites across the web. It's essentially pay to play. Just like you may be running Facebook ads or Instagram, or maybe you're running some Pinterest. Google Ads is Google's way for you to pay to get seen higher up in search. And it's becoming increasingly competitive for local businesses, especially since Google Ads, Maps, and then organic listings. Sometimes as a local business owner, it might be easier and more cost effective to actually use Google Ads than spend your time working on SEO. And understand, I don't say that lightly as somebody who also does SEO. But as small business owners, we often have limited advertising budgets. We probably have limited time, effort, and money across all things. And maybe we can't afford SEO and Google ads. So why should you choose Google ads over SEO? And the reason being, it may take 6 to 9 months to get your website visible on the first page. It actually could take longer, depending on where you are, how much time you have, money to get other people's help, etc. But with Google ads, essentially, depending on your bid and your competition, you could be seen on the first page for your key terms the day you start your campaign, the day that Google starts showing your ads. So what are some of the benefits of Google ads? You can quickly jump to the first page of search results. Like, that is the biggest benefit today, is you can quickly kind of bypass everybody. Your targeting, you can be very specific in your geographic targeting. You may want to target a radius around your business, specific zip codes, specific counties. Maybe you even do multiple states. Demographic, you can choose based on age ranges, based on sex, based on household incomes. You can target ad scheduling. When are your ads going to appear? Maybe you're a typical 8 to 5 type of business. Maybe you only want to run your ads, say 7 to 6, and not even on the weekends. You can control that. And then you're bidding on specific keywords and phrases. You also control your costs. You tell Google, I want to spend this much a day. So if you want to spend $10 a day, Google's going to charge you $300 in a 30-day period. Benefits of Google Ads is it's very easy to measure your success. You can see what keywords are working and what keywords aren't. I will tell you that most businesses, once they've been running for a little while, will find that probably 5 to 20 keywords are the ones bringing in all the conversions. And at that point, there's no need to run keywords just to run keywords. You want to run the keywords that are bringing in conversions, that are adding value to your business. And then it's also super easy to make quick changes to your budget, ads, etc. Maybe you got slammed with business for something, maybe something happened. It is super easy to just pause Google ads for a week or two and then turn it back on when you need it. Nothing says you have to run 24/7 for a year. There are multiple networks you can run on. We're really talking in this presentation about the Google Search Network, but Google Search, other Google sites, Maps, Shopping, YouTube. Then you've got display advertising. Those are the little ads that follow you everywhere. Those are a collection of Google sites, YouTube, partner sites, etc. Now, one thing I get asked a lot is, why Google ads over social media? I will often hear, but I'm running Facebook ads. I don't need to run Google ads. They're not the same. Google ads, your search campaigns, are active advertising. Somebody has sat down at a search engine and started typing, looking for your products or services. I call that active advertising. With social media, even with all the targeting and interest you can do, you're hoping that your ad lands in front of them at the right time when they are thinking or curious about your product or service, and they might click off the website. So it's very different. It's active advertising versus passive advertising. 100% they both have their place, but don't think they are the same. Why Google ads over social media ads? One thing for me is, I am not Facebook continues to change their interface and continues to confuse me to death. Google, much more consistent over that. Also, during like world events, national emergencies and everything, you may not want to be running your ads on Facebook and stuff. You may all of a sudden forget to turn some off and look, not so good. But with Google ads, there's really no need, because if somebody's searching for your product, you're going to show up. Otherwise, you're not. And then finally, I know so many business owners who've had their Facebook ads suspended over the most bizarre thing. And you're really less likely to get your Google ads account suspended over anything. You would have to really break their rules multiple times. Some terms to know. So let's talk about the different elements of a Google ad. You've got campaigns, ad groups, keywords, and ads. So a campaign is essentially a collection of everything. Most small businesses really just need to run one campaign. Now, they may have multiple ad groups under it with multiple keywords in each ad, but most of my local service clients run one campaign. Then you have assets, which are things like site links and call outs, just give you a little more room in the ad, settings, and more. Okay, so campaigns is a set of ad groups. Your campaigns share a budget, location targeting, and other settings. Now, maybe you do have two similar businesses and one runs in Tennessee and the other runs in California, and you want to give each one of those a different budget, then yes, you would need two campaigns for that. And you can have as many or as few campaigns as you want running. You can have as many or as few ad groups. Now, settings you do at the campaign level include your budget, your language, your location, and you can create separate campaigns to run ads in different locations. And that's really super easy because especially if you're running the same business just in a different state and want to use it as a different budget, you can duplicate that campaign, quickly make a few changes, and be on the go. Ad group is a group that has similar keywords. So if you had multiple services, each service would probably have its own ad group in order to organize your keywords by a theme and therefore organizing your ads by a theme. Keywords are the most essential part. These are what you are bidding on. It's essentially an auction based, and you're saying if somebody types in this phrase, I want to show up. And so you want to start thinking about what your ideal audience is looking for. What do they put in? If you are a wedding photographer, then it is most likely wedding photographer and whatever city, county, area you might be in. If you are a caterer, catering Knoxville, caterer Knoxville, those types of words. And then when somebody searches on Google, your ad can be eligible to show up. And now that all depends on how much you're bidding, how your account's set up, etc. A great keyword list can improve the performance of your ads and help you avoid higher prices. If you've got bad keywords in there, and Google will tell you, they will say, this is a bad keyword. You're not showing up for this. That can actually hurt your entire campaign. So in that position, you'd want to just delete that keyword. And then negative keywords are my favorite. So many people, when they've come to me and they've said, Glenneth, I've tried Google Ads before and it just doesn't work. I will ask them one question. I will say, how many negative keywords did you have in your list? And 9 times out of 10, they look at me and they go, negative keywords, what are those? And I'm like, there's your problem. So as much as we want to show up for the keywords that we want to bid on, there are going to be words we do not want to show up for. We don't want to pay for a click. We don't want to waste our money, our impressions, anything. We want to tell Google, hey, these are the words we want to show up for. But if these phrases are in the phrase, we do not want to show up. An example, free. If somebody's typing free wedding photographer, as a business owner, you know that you charge money. There's your first negative keyword. I actually have a huge list. I think it's close to 200 that I put in for most all of my clients and then add specifically around their industry. Your keyword list may grow at 1 to 2 keywords a month. Your negative keyword should be growing much faster, especially in the beginning. It's hard at first to think of all the things you don't want to show up for, but as you start getting data and Google shows you the search terms that you paid a click for or got an impression for, you'll be able to start rapidly increasing that list. So what are the ads? Let's look at the ads here. So This is the URL, of course, and you will always see it says sponsored. It used to say ad in like a little square box, and they've just recently changed it to say sponsored. So these are your headlines, and you get multiple places within Google Ads to put headlines. The more, the better. And the thing about Google is, if you and I were to sit down at our computers and start searching for the same items, we're going to get shown different results. And the reason is Google is using our past history to make decisions about what to show us. And that would include ads as well. Now, we may see the same ads. They may be in a different order. These right here, where you see packages and pricing, recent weddings, etc., those are site links. I may see them for one company and you may not. And again, Google's trying to serve me, the searcher, the best items based on my history, and then also serve what it thinks I would click on for the person doing the advertising. Okay, what makes an ad effective? Essentially connecting your keywords and ads to your landing page. They should all relate. I always use the example pink sneakers. If you are selling pink sneaker would be a keyword. Pink sneakers should be in your ad in multiple places. And then on your landing page, there should just be pink sneakers. Like if you had red and blue sneakers on that landing page, probably not going to work, especially if you don't sell them. You want to highlight what makes you unique. You want to include a call to action. What do you want them to do? Learn more, sign up. You cannot use click. You cannot use that word, but what do you want them to do? And also think of an ad as you want people to either qualify themselves or disqualify themselves. You want them to read that ad and go, absolutely, this is the company I've been looking for. I think they sound great. Let me click and learn more. Great. You may have yourself your ideal client. But you also want to make it so if somebody reads it and goes, oh, that's just really not what I'm looking for. Maybe you're a very high-end wedding photographer, so you use the word like luxury or something very high-end, and they may be more a budget, looking for a budget wedding photographer. You want those people to be able to say, no, that just doesn't sound like that's going to be me, and disqualify themselves so that they are not clicking on your ad and costing you money. What makes an ad effective? Matching your ad to your landing page. I will typically use wording directly off my clients' landing pages or sales pages so that as people are reading the ad and then they go to the page, they'll go, oh yeah, I read this. I remember this. Using ad assets, used to be called extensions, and just experimenting, see what works. Now, in that realm, if your ad is doing really well and you are getting conversions, please don't change just to change. Like obviously, if something in your ad is wrong or you've changed things, make that change. But never just change to make changes when things are going well. Okay, assets used to be called extensions. And like I showed you up here, we've got site links. They actually aren't showing us many extensions in this at all. There are a bunch of different assets, site links, call outs, location, phone number, multiple different things. And here's the thing. It is best practice to enable as many as possible for your business. They may or may not appear. Google decides that, and it's very random on when they show it and when they don't. But if you don't have them, they absolutely won't show them. And then that could mean people aren't seeing as much of your ad in your business. Okay, so let's talk about Google Ads costs, because I know that as small businesses, this is the thing we're really always thinking about. So setup fee. If you were having somebody else do your Google ads, there's typically going to be a setup fee to create the initial campaign ads, etc. And this can start at like 500 and go up to 1,000 plus, depending on the complexity, the agency you're using. all those factors. But that's typically one time to get going, like a setup fee. Then there's going to be probably a monthly management fee. This usually starts at like $300, again, based on complexity, agency, etc. Now, some agencies charge based on spend, and you want to make sure that your campaigns are going to get ongoing monitoring and optimization. And do understand that monitoring is making sure things are going well, making the tweaks, optimizing when needed, but you may not be getting massive changes every week. If things are going well, there may be little, small to no tweaks. If, in the beginning, when you're trying to figure out the right keywords, the right targeting, there may be more optimizations. And then your Google spend. You also have to make sure you factor in how much are you paying to Google. I always say to people, start out with $10 per day and increase it from there. I tell people, give it 90 days. Make sure you are willing to go all in with Google Ads for 90 days and see how it's going at the end of 90 days. It can typically take 4 to 6 weeks just to get statistically significant data to really make some of the bigger optimizations. And so you want to allow enough time. Also, depending on the agency, some of them actually have you pay your spend money to them and they take a percentage of it to Google. So the best way you want to make sure is that you control the spending by you putting your credit card number into Google Ads, and then every dollar that you pay to Google is going to an ad. Like that's what you should be looking for. And so what do you need? You need to be selling a product or a service. You need to have a website and or specific landing pages. Now, one thing to note is Google no longer likes redirects. So if you have this nice, pretty little URL that you want to list as the final URL, Google's going to go, nope, we're not doing it. Google wants that final URL in its destination box because it is really working on transparency to the searcher. They are going through, and it's been going on for about a year now, where all advertisers at some point are having to be verified that they really are who they say they are in their business, just to add a little bit more authenticity and making sure that everybody is on the up and up who is advertising with Google. You really need the ability to capture leads and send them to a thank you page or a funnel for conversions. So if your biggest way of capturing if somebody might want to do business with you is a contact form, have that contact form, when they hit submit, go to a thank you page and set that thank you page up in Google Analytics as a conversion. Then you will be able to pull that conversion into Google Ads. And then once Google Ads is running, and this is key, you will know which keywords in Google Ads yielded conversions for you. And so then that will really say to you, let's say you have 25 keywords that you're running and 5 of them are getting the most conversions. Maybe we go ahead and turn all the other keywords off and just run those 5 using all of your budget. And then know who your ideal client is. Obviously, it may be everybody. You may have a business where age doesn't really matter, sex doesn't matter, household income doesn't matter, or you may be a luxury business for females between the ages of 25 and 45. And so you may choose the top 10% of household income, women 25 to 44, and just females. There is always in those sections an unknown category, and you will want to leave that on, because while Google thinks it knows everything about everybody, it doesn't. And if people aren't actually logged in, they will be listed as unknown, and you want to make sure your ad shows up for them. Finally, you're also going to need to know the phrases your ideal client might use to find you. And this is as easy as asking your current audience, doing some keyword research on google.com, and just trying it. Look to see where your competitors showing up. What do you think people are searching for them? And again, you don't need hundreds of keywords to start. You really need a solid 10 to 20 to get going. And then, like I said, you need to have a marketing budget and you need to be willing to test for at least 3 months. See if there's any questions. No. Okay. So if you're thinking about starting Google Ads, sometimes people don't have everything ready. So one of the things that really trips people up sometimes is you will have to have either a Gmail account or a Google Workspace, which used to be G Suite account, to create a Google Ads campaign. Like, you can't create a Google Ads campaign with Yahoo email address. That's just essentially that. Budget. I recommend you go in with the idea that you're going to spend $10 a day or $300 a month for at least 90 days. Like, set this aside in your marketing budget. Maybe you save up for it a little bit. Then these are the options you've got under the ideal client. These are the age ranges, these are the sex, and these are the household income with an estimated breakdown. Again, it may be to where you have clients at all levels, and that's fine. You may leave them all on. But it's just really depending on what works in your business. Maybe you just know that females are the ones that always call you and convert. You know your business the best. Then keyword research. Spend some time at google.com thinking about the problem or question that your ideal client might be searching for around your product or services, and start making a list of these keywords and key phrases. And then this is key. You want to know if other Google ads are appearing, and would you consider these people your competition? If so, you're in the right place with the right keywords. If not, that's where you keep doing some research. I'm going to jump down here to FAQs. So these are some other questions that I often get asked. Google's credit. So they go through spells where you may get an email saying spend 500 to get 500. One, very quickly read the small print. It's usually for a certain time period only. It's also typically for first-time clients only. And it also usually only lasts for about 30 days after you create your account, not launch your account. So if you start creating, say, maybe it's just good through, we'll pick the end of April, and you start creating it on April 1st, but you don't launch it till April 22nd, you don't have a lot of days to use that. So be very careful when you get that. They can be very good, but there's always a lot of restrictions, shall we say. ROI. It doesn't necessarily work just at higher price products and services. It just depends on what you are comfortable with and how much you would spend for a lead. Here's your basic formula for ROI. If you spend $300 and you make $600, you have an ROI of 100%. And the question you have to ask yourself is, am I willing to have that? Am I willing to spend $300 to make $600, or whatever those numbers are for you? And only you know your risk, how risk aware you are. And yeah, that first couple months, you may spend $300 and make $200. Like, again, it is a risk. It's advertising. But the more you do it and watch and know, then you can make it better. And then you're starting to make an ROI. And then it's kind of on autopilot. It's absolutely how much you feel that you can risk. Like, for example, on a $2,000 service, how much would you spend to get a lead client? And that's really where it's going to be different. Somebody with a $200 product is probably going to be willing to spend much less than a $2,000 service. But somebody with a $200 product who uses it as a lead into a $2,000 service may actually be willing to spend $200 to get the $200 sale, because they see in the future, that person turns into a lead. So it's your funnel, your time to purchase, etc. Targeting. Geo-targeting can be very, very specific, like down to the radius around an address. And it can be, I've got a client doing 5 miles around her business because she is in a city that is so large, such competition. We've got it very, very narrow. I have a client who's local who has a 250-mile radius around their business. So again, you know how far willing are people to travel or work with you the best. And then again, as we've already talked about, the age, sex, and household income demographics, there's also something we won't really go into, but affinity audience based on what they are passionate about. This is great a lot of times for families because there's a lot around babies and parents. And so just another way to add targeting or to see what's working. I get, should I bid on my brand name? Yeah, consider it. One thing is, oftentimes your competitor may actually be bidding on your brand name. They won't do this for long because Google will see that as not a good keyword for them and they'll have to delete it. But especially if you have a product with a unique name that maybe you are advertising over on Facebook, bid on it. Maybe it's Weddings with Wow as your product and you're doing a ton of Facebook advertising. Remember, people may be scrolling. They may not be in the mood to stop. They may see it and think, wow, that sounds interesting, but not click on it. But maybe 2 or 3 days later, they think, hey, I saw a Facebook ad that was this. Finding ads again on Facebook can often be hard. They're most likely going to go to Google and type in that phrase. So if you are bidding on that so that you show up immediately, then now they're like, oh, yeah, and make sure you're using the same wording across the thing. Then they're going to find you. And the pros to this is that your CPC or cost per click is going to be relatively low. Start writing ads. So as I previously mentioned, you have very limited space for your ads. So your headlines, and you have multiple options. You have like up to 15 different options. You can only have 30 characters. You can't abbreviate, you can't use all caps, and you can't use mixed case. So creative writing, certainly a key. Then for descriptions, you can have up to 4, and those can be up to 90 characters. And again, you can't abbreviate, use all caps, or mixed case. It is one of those things you will have to look at it and say, what words can come out? There's a ton of online character counters. I will typically do some of those in there as I'm trying to rewrite to see how it is. And then Google will tell you when you go over the max, and you cannot save the ad until it's within the characters. So know that. Google Search Console. This is another great place to look for keywords under performance. Look for your relevant keywords that are being typed organically. So you can go to Google Search Console, go to performance, see what you're showing up for, but maybe not getting clicks on because your rating is so low. Find the relevant ones that you're like, I want to be showing up for these. And those would be absolutely fantastic to bid on. And not take 6 or 9 months of work to get up and organic. Your landing page. So one thing you want to do is, if you are bidding on keywords, they need to be on your landing page. Like I said, we want to talk about keyword relevancy. We want the keywords to be in the ads, to be on the landing page. Back to the pink sneakers. If you advertise on pink sneakers, the ad has pink sneakers, but nowhere on the landing page does it mention pink sneakers. Google is going to catch on to this, and they're going to go, these are not relevant, and they're going to stop showing your ad as much, and they're going to make it more costly when they do. And that's something you just don't want. So make sure that the key phrases you're using to bid on are also on your landing page. Google Analytics. You want to make sure that you've got Google Analytics for installed on your website, everything set up, that you have all your conversions over there, and then you're going to link Google Ads and Google Analytics. And while in Google Analytics, you can get a lot of data, you will get even more within Google Ads. There'll be different metrics in each. So, but you want to make sure you have them embedded. And one thing that I often look at and show customers is time on site. That can really almost be telling about how the ad and the landing page is resonating with your user. Let's say you're sending them to a services page, and organically people are spending a minute on that page, but maybe through paid ads, they're only spending 11 seconds. Well, that's saying something. We may have the wrong keyword. We may not be disqualifying people enough in our ad. Something isn't meshing from the keyword to the ad to the landing page with paid. But then again, let's go the opposite. Let's say that your paid ad is spending a minute and 30 seconds on page, but they're not converting. Then that's really a sales page issue. And one thing I want you to remember is that Google Analytics is not magic. If you are not getting conversions from other sources, social, organic, referral, word of mouth, etc., you are not all of a sudden going to get multitudes of conversions just because you run Google Ads. You have to have a proven product or service that people are already buying. It's not magic. It's not going to bring you business that you've not already been getting. It's bringing you business from new clients that may not have found you yet. Conversions. And again, we talked about this above. You want to make sure you're setting up goal conversion tracking in Google Analytics to give us the data we need in Google Ads. Like, I cannot stress this one enough. If I don't have some point of telling if a keyword has triggered a lead, a form of submit or something for a client, I don't know if it's working well or not. I can tell if we're getting clicks and impressions. I can tell you how much it costs. But if I don't know that conversion data, then I'm really just guessing. So we don't want to be guessing. Even just one conversion will help. And remember, people don't just go online anymore, they live online. That was a Google quote about 6 years ago, and I just love it. Questions. Let me pop back over here and see if there's any questions. Okay, not seeing any questions right now. So coming soon, I have some little memberships coming for both SEO and Google Ads people. If you want to join the wait list just to hear about everything when it comes, you can click here. I have a visibility workbook. If you haven't already downloaded it, there's a link here. And it just kind of walks you through some things and make sure that you as a business are ready. Things I wouldn't want you to do. I don't want you going into debt to run Google Ads. I don't need you doing that. Make sure, just set aside, if you want to run them and you don't have the money, start setting aside some money for a few months and then say, okay, for the next 90 days, I'm going to run Google Ads. I'm going to spend $300 a month, and then I will determine if it's working for you. And only you really know, is it really working? Am I getting in the new consistent leads that I need to keep my business running? And that's essentially what you want. If you hire somebody out to be working on the Google Ads, your biggest thing that you can do to help them is say the leads that are coming in are good quality, 50-50 quality, or bad quality. Like, that's what your people need to know. And that will really help them as they're looking, because they know if it's good quality, okay, let's make sure we're getting some of the same. If it's so-so quality, maybe we can figure out which keyword or words are not bringing in the higher quality and pause those. It is one of the best things about Google Ads is you can quickly make changes. you can quickly add keywords, pause them, add whole new ad groups, increase your budget, decrease your budget, pause the campaign. Like, I can't stress how quick and easy it is. And I've had clients before who I've been out and they've messaged me and had some kind of emergency in their business. And they're like, can you turn my Google ads off? And I can literally just do that quickly from my phone and then check in with them again later when I'm back in the office. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Glenneth. You can find me on Instagram at glenneth.com. You can email me at glenneth@thevisibilitymethod.com if you have any questions, or check out my website at thevisibilitymethod.com. I am happy to answer questions. I'm not seeing any, and I'm trying to think of more that people might ask. So what we talked about in this was search campaigns. There are also display campaigns, which are the little ads you see following you around the web. There's YouTube. If you are very active on YouTube, you might consider running some YouTube ads. But I suggest if you're just getting started with Google Ads, you're just wanting to get in, and essentially you need to be showing up in search results. Like, as a business owner, your business needs to be visible. And so there's really two distinct ways: show up through SEO, show up through Google Ads. Pick which one you're going to start working with. At some point, I think you maybe need to do both, but pick which one you need right now in the moment. Are you getting plenty of business right now? Are you comfortable where you're at? Then maybe you want to start with SEO. Do you need more business now? You're ready to scale up. You've got the capacity. You've got the advertising budget. Then honestly, I recommend starting with Google Ads. And then once that's up and going, then add on SEO. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Again, thank you very much for having me. If you have any questions at all, reach out to me. Instagram is my social of choice. Email glenneth@thevisibilitymethod.com. And thank you so much for having me.